you can draw this in Procreate. In this tutorial, I will show you how you can create this cute octopus. And I will also show you how you can easily change colors in Procreate. And I will show you a fun art reveal trick. So let's get started right away. We'll be using free brushes only, brushes that are already in the app, and brushes from my treasure chest, which you can find through freefromflow.com. And don't forget, once you have finished the tutorial all the way till the end, share your work. Share it on Instagram, tag me in the image, and perhaps we'll see your work in the next video. And also don't forget to leave a little thumbs up or a comment, subscribe to the channel if you want to support. You can draw this. But now, for real, let's get started. The first thing, let's talk about the canvas. It's 2300 pixels by 3000 pixels and the color profile is set to sRGB. And as always, I have created a color palette for you, which you can download for free through the link in the description. First thing we'll do is we will add a background color. We'll go to the layer menu, click background color, and we will pick this second color over here. And we are going to create a grid pattern on our background. We'll go to the textures brushes and then use the grid brush. It's right here. Let's zoom out a little bit. The opacity and the size are both at 100%. And we are going to pick this third color over here. And we are going to fill the entire canvas without lifting our pen. So just make one stroke over the entire canvas. Don't lift your pen or your finger, and fill your canvas with this grid. And I actually want to make it a little bit bigger. Let's go to the move tool, that's the little arrow, and let's use the corners. We'll drag them a little bit. Make sure that you have it set to uniform. And then let's replace our grid. Let's make it look something like this. And then just click the arrow again. And now we are going to get started on our little octopus. Let's create a new layer on top of this layer. Let's click the plus. And let's go and grab the monoline brush, which you can find under calligraphy. And for the color, let's pick this pink over here, that first color, which of course nicely matches my nail polish and pencil sleeve. First thing we'll do is create a circle. Just hold your pen in place to make it snap to a perfect quick shape. And you can click edit shape at the top to change it a bit. We don't want it to be too big. Let's go for something like this. And then just click the brush again. And we can actually drag in the color to fill this shape. And now let me make the brush a little bit smaller. Let's go for 20%. The opacity is at 100%, by the way. We don't want any transparency. And now we are going to create some smaller circles around our big circle. And every time, just hold your pen in place to turn it into a quick shape. And then you can go to edit shape and we'll move it around a little bit, and we'll go to the next circle, hold your pen in place, go to edit shape, and then you can move it around, change it a bit, and then again just click that brush to get back to the brush tool. We'll make a circle over here, we'll go to edit shape, place that one over here, then we'll click the brush again, make a circle here, click edit shape, we'll make this one a little bit higher, place it around here, then click the brush again, make a circle, go to edit shape, we'll place this about here, then one small circle over here. Again, click edit shape. We'll go for something like this. Now I want to attach these circles to make these fun, small like tentacles. So we'll go past every circle and attach them like this, making these little indents. We'll attach this one as well. Make it nice and rounded. And we'll make a little rounded shape here as well. And now let's fill the shapes. And as we do, let's click Continue Filling with Recolor at the top. And then just click all these gaps to fill all these, well, gaps, fill all the shapes. And then just click that magic wand again, get out of that menu. Now I feel like our little octopus is a little bit big. We can go to the arrow, set it to uniform, and make it just a little bit smaller. I'll place it in the center and then just click the arrow again. Now, if you are not entirely happy with the shape, you can also go to the magic wand and then use liquify, set it to push, and make sure that distortion and momentum are off. And you can vary the size, and you can push and pull these tentacles and change the shapes a little bit. Sometimes that's easier than drawing lines or adjusting lines. This can be an easier way to adjust your shape. But I like it like this. Let's go to the magic wand again, get out of there, and now let's create a new layer underneath our little octopus. Let's click layer 1 first, then click the plus for a new layer. And then let's switch to this second blue color over here. And now we are going to create that reverse side of our octopus. You can see a little part of it. Let's start about here. And make sure that you close that shape behind that pink part. And let's just add a little bit of thickness to our octopus. And you don't have to do it in one go. Just make like a thick outline. All the way to here. You can close that shape behind the pink, so loop around, and then you can fill the shape by dragging in the color. And of course you can easily adjust it. We can also make the brush a little bit bigger actually. Let's go for 80%. And you can add a little bit of thickness, or you can use the eraser to remove parts. Or you can again use that liquify tool to adjust it a little bit. I think it looks good like this. Now let's start adding some texture, shadow, and light to our octopus. But before we add that texture, let's go to the layer, to layer 2. Click that layer and turn on alpha lock. That way, whatever we paint, it'll only show up on that pink shape. And for our brush, we are going to the treasure chest brush pack. And we are going to use the spackle brush. And let's first add some shadow. Let's first grab this second color over here. I have the opacity of the brush set to 90% and the size is at 55. And let's imagine that the light is coming from this side. So on this side, we will have lighter colors. And on this side of our octopus, there will be shadow. So we will have this darker pink over here. And let's imagine that it has this rounded head. So we'll follow, well, like that initial circle that we created before we added the tentacles. And we'll also have some shadow on these little tentacles and in between them. A bit like this. We just want some nice texture, adding interest to our little cute octopus. Now we are going to the darker color. We are going to grab that third dark pink color and we are going to make the brush a little bit smaller. Let's go for, let's say 25%. And let's again move along that rounded shape. Imagining that there is like a circle or an oval on top of these tentacles. And we'll add shadow in between these little tentacles. And along that little edge. And you can see that our little octopus, it's already taking shape. Now let's make the brush a bit bigger again, 55. Let's also add some darkness to the top area here, just a little bit. And then let's switch to the lighter color. Let's first pick this one at 4th color. And let's go over that right side, making rounded motions as if the light is hitting there. And on the tentacles as well. Let's go a bit smaller. 35%. Just make these little rounded motions on each tentacle. And now let's switch to that even lighter color, that 5th one over here. And we'll add even more light to this edge over here. That's where the light is hitting. And also on this tentacle, again, make rounded motions along that edge. And on this tentacle as well. And a little bit over here. And just a little bit here. Because this one, it's more in shadow than these on the right side. So a little bit more on this edge. Like that. Next we are going to add stitches to our octopus. We are going to do that on a separate layer. We are going to click the plus and we are going to set this layer to clipping mask. That way our stitches will only end up on the octopus and not on the outside. For the brush, we are going to use the round chalk, which is also part of the treasure chest brush pack. And for the color, we are going to use this 6th color over here. The opacity of the brush is at 100% and the size is at 6%. And now let's go along that rounded shape of its head. And let's add these stitches. We'll just follow that shadow that we have just created. Go all the way to the right. And we'll also go over its head. And again, imagine that this is a rounded shape. So we'll create a curve going to the other side of its head. And another one starting here. Just make a curve going to the other side of its head, something like this. Then we'll also make some stitches along the edge of the tentacles. Just like this, follow the entire body, all the tentacles. All the way to there. Here you wouldn't be able to see the stitches, perhaps one over here. And now that we have this, let's add some texture to that lower part as well, that blue part. Let's go to that layer, layer 3, let's click it and turn on alpha lock so we won't be able to paint outside of this shape either. Let's go to the spackle brush again and let's pick this dark blue first. And let's add some shadow. Remember, the light is coming from this direction, so here we would have some shadow. Here as well, and especially in those indents. They will be in shadow over here. Some shadow there. And the other parts will be hit by light a bit, so let's pick that light blue. And let's go over those areas. Adding some light texture. This part. That looks better. Now before we are going to add a cute little face, let's duplicate these layers because we are going to switch the colors for our second version of this octopus. So let's select these layers by sliding to the right, selecting all 3 of them, then let's group them. Let's close the group, then slide to the left and duplicate this group. Now to be able to easily recolor layers, we're going to have to do a little trick. The only way to access Recolor is by using the quick menu. And you can set your quick menu by going to the wrench, then to Prefs, and then to Gesture Controls. Now here you have the quick menu, and here you can set how you want to access that quick menu. Now I have chosen that my quick menu will open if I tap that little rounded square and tap my Apple Pencil on the screen. But you can pick whichever one you like. So now click Done. Now let me demonstrate it. If I tap this little rounded square and tap my pencil on the screen, my quick menu will open. And to select Recolor, you have to click and hold one of these 6 menu items, and then you can just scroll through this Set Action menu, and you can select Recolor to set Recolor in your quick menu. And now, how does that work? Let's go to Layer 2 first. We'll want to change the color over there first. So we're on that layer, and then I'll just tap that little square, click on the screen, and then select Recolor. Now using this little crosshair, you can go over the layer and decide which color you want to change. And you can also set the flood. So that's how much of that color you want to recolor. Let me just set it to 80%. And I still have that light blue turned on, but you can also switch the color. You can make it whatever color you want. But I actually want to go for that light blue color. I like that. Now let's go to layer 4. That's the layer with the stitches on it. And again, let's tap this rounded square. Grab the quick menu and then select Recolor. And then we'll have to move that crosshair to one of the stitches. And then we can select that dark blue to turn our stitches to dark blue. Now all we have to do is change that bottom part. So let's go to layer 3. Let's open the quick menu again, select Recolor, and let's move that crosshair to that bottom area. And then let's switch it to pink. And now we have 2 versions of our octopus. Let's go back to the first one first. So we'll have to turn this one off by clicking that little checkpoint check mark. Then let's add a little face for our little octopus. Let's click layer 2 first, then click the plus for a new layer. And let's use the round chalk. And we will pick this color over here, that 4th color. Let's make the brush a little bigger. Let's go for 50%. And let's create 2 cute little eyes. Of course, it also needs a little mouth, so let's make the brush smaller for that, perhaps 10%. Let's make a semicircle, hold your pen in place to make it turn to a quick shape. Then you can go to Edit Shape and even adjust that arc. And then click the brush again. Now let's turn on Alpha Lock on this layer. So click the layer, turn on Alpha Lock, and let's add a little shadow. We'll select this 5th color, and we will go along that top part to create a little bit of a shadow in its eye. And it also needs a little highlight, so let's select this white for a cute little highlight, like that. And finally, let's go to layer 2 and we'll switch to this 4th color, that pink. And we'll also add a little bit of light along that lower edge here, making those eyes really stand out. And we can do the same for its mouth. Now our blue version of the octopus, it's not that happy. Let's give him a face as well. Let's go to layer 2 here, click the plus for a new layer. Let's go to that 4th color again. Let's switch to 55%. And again, let's make 2 eyes. Let's make them nice and big. And now we will remove a part. Let's switch to the eraser. Let's click and hold the eraser so it'll switch to our round chalk brush, as you can see. Now let's remove the top part by making a diagonal stroke like this. You can see it already looks pretty angry. Now as for its mouth, let's switch to the brush again. Turn it to 10%, just like we did before. And now let's make an angry looking mouth. Again, you can use edit shape, quick shape to change it a bit. And then just click the brush again. Again, we can use alpha lock on this layer. Click the layer, turn on alpha lock. We can use it to create a little shadow. So we'll use that 5th color. Add a little bit of shadow here to the top area of its eye. And we'll also add that white. It still has a little highlight. The highlight is on the right side, by the way, because we have that light coming from this side, of course. So these highlights will be on that side here as well. And let's also add that little edge of light on this layer, layer 2 in this case. Let's use this bright blue. And let's create a little edge. You can barely see it on this side, but here it'll be more visible because this area is a bit darker. And for its mouth as well. Now I want our octopus to have a little bit of a sticker look. So we are going to create a white outline. Let's close our groups. Let's go to layer 1, click the plus for a new layer, and let's pick a white color. And let's go to the monoline brush again. Under calligraphy, let's make it nice and big, 100%. And now let's just go along the outlines of our octopus to create a nice thick white outline. And you can just rotate your screen or well, your canvas to make it easier to make this outline. You can just make multiple strokes. And don't forget that you can turn up the streamline of your brush in the brush settings if you're having trouble making these smooth strokes. Don't worry if you need to redo some parts or if you have to use the eraser. You can just switch to the monoline eraser by clicking and holding the eraser, and now it's no longer set to the round chalk, but it's the monoline brush now. So if you need to erase parts, let's make that bigger. If you need to erase parts, please be sure to use the monoline brush and not the round chalk, because otherwise you will get a textured edge. And we want our edge to be smooth and sticker-like. Now let's fill this white shape by dragging in the white. So now when you go to your layer menu, you can see that we have this big white shape. Now first let me turn off that blue octopus layer because it's looking so angry. This is better. And now let's duplicate this layer 12. Slide and click duplicate. Then go to that bottom layer and then select this first color over here and drag it onto it. Now we have a dark gray layer here. And that'll be our shadow. First thing we'll do is go to the adjustments menu. That's that little magic wand. Then click Gaussian blur, set it to layer, and then slide your pen on the screen to the right to blur this layer a bit. Let's go for 10%. And then click the magic wand again. Now go to the move tool And then drag your shadow down a little bit and a little bit to the left. And now we have that nice sticker look. You can just click that arrow again to get out of there. Of course, I promise to also do a little reveal trick that you can use in your videos on TikTok or Instagram, for instance. Let's go to the layer menu. And let's say we want to reveal the blue octopus. We want to have our pink octopus, remove that, and reveal our blue one. Now let's just duplicate this group and put it on top. And now let's flatten this group. You can click flatten, and now you have just this layer with our octopus, and we can have our blue octopus underneath. And now to reveal our blue octopus, you can either use the eraser or use a layer mask. If you use the eraser, then, well, erasing is permanent unless you use the 2-finger tap to undo. But if you use a mask, you can always just paint it back in. So let's click the layer, select mask, and now we have a layer mask attached to our pink octopus. It's completely white now, so we'll see the entire octopus. But once we start painting on the layer mask with black, we will start to mask parts and we will reveal the blue octopus underneath. So to do the reveal effect, you can use any brush you like. For instance, the Blackburn under drawing. And let's switch it to black. You can double tap here at the bottom. And I have it set to 100%. And I have the size at 30%. And now you can just go over your octopus and slowly reveal that super angry octopus underneath. And that's it. You have created your own cute little octopus. I hope you have enjoyed following this tutorial, and I'm looking forward to seeing your results. And your fun reveal videos, of course. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you haven't already, and I will see you next time for the next You Can Draw This video tutorial.